With me today is Dr. Joan Giesecke. She is the professor and special assistant to the Chancellor at University of Nebraska-Lincoln. And she has an MLS from the University of Maryland, MA in management from Central Michigan University, and a doctoral in public affairs from George Mason University. I would like to ask her a few questions today and ask her to give us some information about those questions. First,
Thank you.
Could you describe a little bit about your current position and how you become involved in the work that you're doing?
Okay. Well, I currently have a 2-year appointment at the university to help coordinate the accreditation efforts for the campus as a whole. And a key part of accreditation has to deal with assessment and ensuring that we are doing both direct and indirect assessment of student learning outcomes and program level outcomes throughout the campus. Within the libraries, the activities that relate directly to what I'm doing are the ones that currently talk about information literacy and ensuring that our students are developing the kinds of skills that we want them to have when they graduate from the university. And so much of what I do works with how to bring that research mentality into the work that we do so that we have evidence that we are graduating students that can fulfill the requirements of the degree but have the skills that we say they're going to have as part of their programs.
Well, tell us a little bit about how your work in assessment affect the day-to-day decision making in the libraries.
In terms of decision making, it's very important that our decisions be evidence-based decisions as much as possible. And so we're looking at how to both identify and gather and collect the kind of data that we need to make a decision, and then how that data not only helps inform our decisions, but then how do we assess that decision so that we know we are accomplishing what we set out to do. And so having that ability to both understand and then analyze the data that we have is very important. So it isn't just looking at the number of reference questions, for example, that might come into a reference desk, or the ongoing trend of a decrease in circulation. But what does that number tell us, and what does that say about our services? So if print circulation is going down, but use of electronic resources is going up, then how do we adjust our services so that we are providing the services that the students need at the point that they need them? So that's an example of how you would use assessment to make a decision and then change your services as a consequence of it.
In other words, you are looking for hard, solid data to back up with the decision making in the libraries.
Absolutely, we need solid data, and we need that in all kinds of libraries because our funders, the people that we report to, are very much interested in and need to be able to see that we aren't just telling stories about what we do, but that we can actually show it with firm data of what we're doing. So whether it's a public library or a special library, an academic library, you need to be able to go to your constituents or to the public or to the students who often pay fees to be able to say X number of students are using our services and this is what that means, or we are seeing this kind of a trend in how databases are being used, and that's what this means, so that we can justify, if you will, who we are, but also show return on investment so that we can show that we make a difference to the students. So, for example, one of the studies that's being done in many places now is to look at grade point average and library use, and being able to show that students who use the library have a higher grade point average and graduate in fewer years than those who don't use the library. And that's a really good piece of data. But to be able to collect that data, you have to understand how data is created, how to analyze it, how to display it in a way that makes your case for what you're trying to do.
as you can imagine, that some of our students will think that when they grow up, they would like to be you. And when you recruit librarians to do library assessment, what kind of knowledge and skills do you look for in the candidates?
We very much look for candidates who understand research methods, so that they understand both qualitative research and quantitative research. So they understand more than just doing a survey or asking students how they feel about something, that they can take that kind of a methodology and supplement it with an in-depth interviews with students, which would be more of a qualitative approach. So understanding both how to gather data, quantitative and qualitative methods, and then, so understanding limitations of those methodologies, and then being able to analyze the data and then be able to display the data in a way that is going to make sense to someone either reading a report or hearing a presentation. So having both the skills to do presentations of data, etc., as well as understanding where that data comes from and how to use that data effectively. And so often in our interviews, we will have, in fact for all interviews now, no matter what the position is, the person does a presentation to the rest of the librarians, to the library faculty, so that we can see that they have those skills that they need to be able to go out to faculty or to the public in the community and explain who we are and explain how the data is used. So it's important to understand that. So a good research methods course is crucial. Statistics, understanding how to use statistics effectively is important. Understanding how even simple percentages work can make all the difference in how you present your data to a group that is going to make a decision about anything from your funding to what services you provide to how they're going to use your building.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Giesecke.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to do this. Good luck.